If you like the following content, please leave a tip at buymeacoffee/Whitley. So gather round for a tale of electrifying proportions, a saga where silicon wafers are unsung heroes, and the quest for quicker computing is the never-ending journey. Welcome to another episode of Technology Investment Investigations, where today we venture into the enigmatic world of Micron Technology. So when I first started investing, Micron Technology was an interesting little company that people were talking about on different billboards and different newspaper articles, suggesting that this was an up-and-coming company. I invested a little, and I took shares out when I needed the cash, but I never really took it as a long-term investment. So who is Micron Technology? What are they? What are they in the market? Well, Micron Technology is a titan now in the semiconductor industry. It's a storied history that speaks volumes about innovation and resilience. Founded sometime around my birthday in 1978 in a basement in Boise, Idaho. Love that name. In a dental office of all things, by a small group of, how can we put these, enthusiasts. It was a 4-person semiconductor design company at the time, and now it's a global leader in memory and storage solutions. Quite a jump. So the journey they've had from these humble beginnings to becoming an indispensable part of the tech landscape underscores a pivotal role that this company's had in driving technology forward. The current CEO is a gentleman named Sanjay Mehrotra, and he's been there since April 2017, and he's been instrumental in steering Micron through the evolving challenges and the opportunities of this semiconductor industry. And with a rich history that includes co-founding SanDisk, Mehrotra brings a wealth of experience and a track record of innovation to Micron. Currently under his leadership, the company has continued to expand its technological prowess and market reach. The commitment to transforming how the world uses information has been quite interesting, and I think he's done a pretty good role so far. As for the company's legacy overall, it's been marked by significant achievements and milestones. For instance, it's partnered with Intel to create joint ventures such as IM Flash Technologies and ventured into new markets by acquiring companies like Lexar. These strategic moves have allowed Micron to enhance the products it's offering and strengthen its position in the memory market, which is pretty much exactly where it is when we look at the whole semiconductor industry. So today Micron operates globally with about 43,000 employees across 17 countries and demonstrates a vast scale and capacity that the company has. It boasts a diverse range of innovative products that are essential for various applications, from AI to the automotive and mobile data centers, basically anything that requires anything with a memory in it. It underscores the ubiquity of Micron technology in our everyday lives. The narrative for this company is a testament to a transformative power of innovation, that they've been fortunate enough to be there just at the right time as computers expanded globally, and it celebrates over 45 years of technological advancements. Micron appears to stand out not just as a company but as a beacon of progress in the semiconductor industry. That's basically how the masthead puts it forward. So what we're going to do is we're going to crack on with the financials, and then we'll go into the SWOT analysis itself, and we'll work out whether this company still has any value to invest in, regardless of the jump in share price recently. Now, with that 17% jump in share price recently, I've got to wonder whether I got my numbers right, but let's crack on with this, and I'll describe the financial situation of the company as best I understand it. Micron reported a loss of about 95 cents per share for quarter one of this year, 2024, which was slightly below what analysts were expecting. That forecast a loss of 91 cents per share. But on a brighter note, the company outperformed in terms of revenue, posting $4.5 to $4.7 billion, which is a 10 to 11% higher than analysts expected take, basically. The divergence between the EPS, the earnings, and the revenue indicates that Micron is generating much higher sales than expected by the market, which means its profitability is currently under pressure, likely due to operational costs and the investments of capital expenditures. This is quite interesting, but not unexpected. Unlike most of the companies we've looked at, this isn't a startup. This is a dinosaur company, basically. It should just be settled in what it's doing. Although all technology companies technically are in a permanent state of startup, so it really depends on your point of view. But if we look a bit deeper into finances, the capital expenditures were about 1.7 billion for the first quarter. This gives it free cash flows negative 300 million, I think. This is what I'm right. This suggests that Micron is heavily investing in future operational capabilities and infrastructure. Always a good thing, always love that. But this has strained the short-term liquidity. If you live through 2008, that's quite dangerous for most companies. The marketable investments, the cash and the restricted cash is about $9 to $10 billion. Hopefully this will provide a substantial financial cushion despite all the other cash flow ongoings that are taking place. Trying to dig up more information on the investment considerations. I think from amateur investors, understanding the financial health will require you to go deeper into the company and look at what's going on. To summarise, Micron Technology is navigating a challenging period, as all tech companies are, with everything that's going on in the world. We'll go through that during the SWOT analysis. But from a financial point of view, it's healthy in terms it's got cash, but it's in a heavy R&D phase at the moment. I think that's the best way of looking at it. But the sales are really, really good, which is why we've seen this in the share price jumping up recently. I think that's a pretty comprehensive look at it so far. So as usual, we do the strengths, which is the strength of the company, and then we'll go on to the weakness of the company, and then the opportunities of the market for the company and the threats to the markets of the company. So if we look at what makes this company good, what makes it worth investing in, if we just ignored all the negatives, it's going to be its ability to lead in the market. Micron has made significant strides in memory technology, particularly with the introduction of the industry's first 8-high 24GB HBM3 Gen 2 memory. This innovation is a game changer, offering bandwidth greater than 1.2 terabits per second and a pin speed over 9GB per second. This advancement presents a 50% improvement over current shipping from HBM3 solutions. Its significance of this development cannot be overstated, especially when it comes to AI, and you've seen AI blow up this year like crazy. It basically means that if the sales currently are big, over the next 12 to 18 months, I think we're going to see them jump even higher, potentially. They've also had other great products out there from Micron, like the 7500 SSD, which is solid state drive, hard drive. It's to do with the PCI Gen 4 data centers. I could go into the technical bits with this, but yeah, great piece of equipment. What else have we got here? So I think from the actual technical perspective, it's very advanced. It's very, how can I put this? It's there at the next generation. That's probably where all the R&D money is going at the moment, and I think that's basically going to put it in a good position. It gives it some great technology going forward. But if we look at what the company's doing outside this, they've got some great collaborations with other companies. You could say it's got an ecosystem of collaborations to enhance its product offerings. It's partnered with leading companies, and it's been part of TSMC's 3D Fabric Alliance. Micron shapes the future of the semiconductor industry and system innovations at the moment. It seems to be the leader in what's taking place. Now, there are going to be some other startups out there, but I don't think they're at the same scale as Micron for producing. Essentially, it's the RAM that's in your computer. If you're a complete technical novice, it's your fast memory, not your slow long-term memory that's in your high-end devices. That's why it's so important in the AI industry, because obviously that's where everything's taking place at the moment. But then there's the fact that this company's been around for 45 years. How many companies do you know have been around for 45 years that aren't oil-based or have some other commercial operation where it was unique? Computer technology isn't unique. There's so much competition out there. For this company to be around for 45 years, makes it a leader in the market regardless of how it's operating. It's been significant in bringing about all this new technology to our computers, to our laptop, what I'm using right now, what you're using to watch this. They're there. There's going to be a Micron name in there somewhere. It's a very big company. It's very important. This highlights Micron's strength in innovation and its solid standing as a leader in the memory and storage solutions industry. For amateur investors, these developments signal Micron's potential. It really does. It's worth looking at if from that perspective. But as always, we've always got to look at the other side of it. So, what are its weaknesses? Going through my research, Micron Technology has faced several challenges that have contributed to a somewhat negative perception in recent times, particularly regarding its financial outlook and market performance. These challenges primarily revolve around a weakened demand outlook given everything that took place in 2020, strategic operational decisions to cut production, and a broader industry impact has led to significant inventory adjustments and financial impairments. In June 2022, Micron issued a weaker than expected business outlook, triggering concerns that there's an onset of a down cycle in the chip industry from people just basically not buying them. This announcement was particularly alarming as it came after nearly 2 years of strong demand, which probably just basically meant that people built up their own industries and it didn't really want to buy anymore. There wasn't any more innovation going on. So the company's adjusted revenue forecast significantly lagged behind Wall Street expectations of this company and any company that would be similar. Compounding these challenges, in November of that year, in 2022, Micron announced plans to supply fewer memory chips and to make additional cuts to its capital expenditure plans. This decision was aimed at managing excess inventory due to a slump in demand, as I've speculated, particularly for personal computers and smartphones, which has been exacerbated by the global destruction of what went on in 2020, and obviously the pressures from inflation which took place in 2023. This move was part of a broader industry trend as companies adjusted to overstocked inventories following the events of 2020. Of course, we have press, which has been quite negative. Seeking Alpha has further highlighted Micron's financial difficulties, pointing to a record inventory impairment as a significant setback for the company. This period describes the worst quarter of net loss for the company in its history. It's a 45-year history, so that's how bad things were. And this is very recent as well, emphasising the scale of challenges that the company's facing, basically just to clear its shelves. These issues reflect complex challenges that Micron Technology has had to navigate over the past couple of years. While the company is taking steps to address these issues through strategic production cuts and inventory management, it's the broader economic outlook which is going to affect the company. So how is that going to affect it? Let's have a look. Obviously, this is a huge industry. The semiconductor industry is hopefully poised for a strong rebound this year, 2024. This will be marked by significant growth and advancements in technology, as a lot of the technology that has been squashed for the past few years by economic conditions starts to hit the market. So after facing a challenging year in 2023, across the whole industry, we're expecting sales to be down about 9 to 10%. The industry is forecasting for itself global sales to reach just under 600 billion, so around 580 to 600 billion this year. They're hoping this is a decent increase. So we're talking about a 12 to 13% increase from last year, and a 2.5% rise in the record industry revenues that they found in 2022. Sounds contradictory, but trust me, it's not. The memory chip market is a significant swing factor in the industry performance. This is expected to recover almost entirely from its 31% drop in 2023. This is all to do with the massive inflation they had there when sales just disappeared because people just couldn't afford to purchase any of this stuff. There's a company called Gartner who projects a 16 to 17% growth in global semiconductor revenues for 2024, totaling around 600 billion. This growth is anticipated across all chip types, regardless of where they're used, and is driven by a double-digit expansion in the memory market. The resurgence in demand for chips, particularly those supporting artificial intelligence workloads like graphic processor units, is set to fuel this growth. The memory market, after experiencing a substantial decline, is expected to see a remarkable 66% increase this year. It's all to do with basically the fact that the kids are just too lazy to draw these days and all cheating like crazy using AI. The global semiconductor capacity is projected to reach a new high of a staggering 13 million wafers per month for this year. This is a 6% increase from 2023. This growth is attributed to capacity expansions in leading-edge technology, leading-edge logic and foundry applications, including the generative AI and the high-performance computing that we've seen come in the market in the past few months. These trends highlight the semiconductor industry's critical role in enabling technological advancements across various sectors, including AI, HPC, and consumer electronics. So while poised for growth and innovation, the semiconductor industry faces significant challenges that threaten and could impact its trajectory. One of the primary concerns is the cyclical nature of the industry, which is known for its boom and bust cycles. Predictions indicate that 2024 could usher in a market correction following a period of sustained revenue growth, hinting at potential cyclical downturn. This volatility necessitates careful planning and management to navigate the oversupply situations that we've previously mentioned that can emerge as new factories come online, potentially leading to an oversupply of certain chip technologies once again. There are also geopolitical tensions, particularly the ongoing trade disputes between the United States and China, which seem to never go away. These tensions have the potential to disrupt the global semiconductor supply chain, affecting everything, from the availability of the raw materials to the export and import of the finished products. In the USA, the semiconductor firms from there, which control a significant portion of the global market share, are particularly vulnerable due to their reliance on international supply chains for manufacturing, assembly and packaging. Now think about it, there's an election this year, so whichever president comes in could actually change the nature of this cycle, because both of them have very different viewpoints on global economics and how things moved about for their country. Outside of this though, furthermore, the industry faces technical challenges such as the increasing difficulty in maintaining high production yields in the face of imperfections in silicon substrates. We're getting to that stage where we're actually taking up the best of the materials that we can find around the world, and as these devices shrink and the demands on performance increase, even minor substrate imperfections can render entire wafer runs unusable. Now, a lot of this hasn't actually hit the main presses yet, but you are starting to see it in certain publications within the industry that suggest that there is a major problem on the horizon with chips basically disappearing because they can't produce them at good enough quality, and recycling isn't up to standard to actually produce very fine quality silicon wafers yet. So that's an interesting future for the entire industry and basically global economics, because once the chips start disappearing, that's going to be it for everything. That could actually be the next big boom and bust cycle for everybody. Interesting. I'll have to look at that one in the future. Of course, we've also got the recycling, environmental, sustainability challenges for the industry. Sorry, I've got a really bad throat today. The process of reclaiming materials is not only costly, but generates toxic waste, often managed in developing countries under questionable labour practices. Just go online, look up anything, you'll see just young people walking around electronic dumps, just ripping bits and pieces out and trying to get down to the raw materials in order to sell it to secondary people. It's a horrible thing to look at. Even the fashionable if in the West for electronic waste recycling, that's mainly done for precious materials. In certain parts of the world, they're doing it for any materials they can get from this. It's not pleasant at all. So if we look at the semiconductor industry, as it continues to thrive and drive its technological innovation, the critical parts of the global economy are making the whole industry very vulnerable. It's going to have to navigate the complex landscape of this market volatility, the geopolitical risks, which genuinely this year will make or break the industry. Make or break, I'm probably exaggerating, but it will certainly change the dynamic and the narrative of how that market works. The technical challenge and the environmental responsibilities certainly need to be addressed by all the manufacturers within the industry. Hopefully we'll start seeing these supply chains shorten. That's my preferred point. That's how I would prefer everything to be done. Everything should be done locally. I mean, raw materials moving around the world, that's different, but the actual manufacturing should be done as locally as possible. Will that happen? I don't know. But there is certainly a lot of food for thought for anybody who wants to invest in any company in the semiconductor industry. So how do we conclude? Well, investing in the semiconductor industry offers a unique blend of opportunities and challenges. For amateur investors with a scenario that requires careful consideration, let's just go through the pros and cons quickly just to get our head around whether it's actually worth investing in any company in this, not just in Micron. There's growth potential. The semiconductor industry is poised for significant growth, with predictions of a rebound in chip sales in 2024. The global semiconductor revenue is projected to grow between 17 and 18% to a potential total of around $600 to $640 billion dollars. This is driven by advancements in technology such as artificial intelligence, which is really pushing everything forward. The demand on semiconductors is fueled by the continued advancement in this technology. It's not just artificial intelligence, although this is going to be the biggest part of it, but we also have the move to 5G and your smart things, the Internet of Things, which is huge in China at the moment, and obviously electric vehicles, which is one of the biggest growth markets outside of smartphones, basically. The capacity that's needed is expected to hit a record high this year, driven significant investments in the fabrication, constructions and expansions in the ability of these companies to actually produce these chips. This capacity increase is aimed at meeting this burgeoning demand of applications and the new things that are coming online. So overall, the pros for the whole industry is that there's a lot of money out there being poured into it, as the expected sales are supposed to be quite high. Now this is where things get difficult when we look at the cons of what's potentially out there. The industry is known for its cyclical boom and bust periods. These have been consistent since I can remember. I was basically a young teenager when Intel was starting to grow and put their chips out for PCs. So basically people building their own computers at home. And I can remember these coming and going every few years as there was a glut of chips going in the market. It's basically the potential that towards the end of this year, beginning of next year, there could be another correction in the oversupply and we could see another change in the market. There's also the geopolitical risks between the United States and America with their election coming up. This could determine how the supply chains are managed. And of course China has bought up a lot of the raw materials, but it doesn't necessarily mean this is going to affect America, but it will certainly affect the rest of the world. So Europe, Africa, South America will have a knock-on effect on the price of their chips and their ability to do things. The environmental problems with recycling these materials are very serious. That's a whole other video I would have to do to describe just how bad it can be out there when it comes to the world basically dumping its electronic waste materials onto poor countries around the world, not just in Africa but in Asia, in South America, even with our own shores in Europe, we're seeing significant problems with waste management. Although in Britain we're very good at recycling, it's not good, it's not pretty, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. So for amateur investors, the semiconductor industry presents a compelling mix of very high growth potential, but there are inherent risks, and there's the prospects of technological advancements basically leading to boom and bust from the poor supply chains, the cyclical nature of the industry, the geopolitical tensions between the major powers, and the challenges that with technical complexity and environmental sustainability warrant a cautious approach. Investors should, of course, always thoroughly research, consider diversification to mitigate the risks. But it's an interesting industry, and the companies in it are very interesting to get involved with. Personally, if I was to when I've done this in the past, like I've said in this video, when I've invested in companies, it's been small to middling amounts, and it's been over a short period. Trying to ride those economic cycles and the boom bust cycles of chips themselves is quite difficult. But unless you can find a company that gives good dividends, I would be very, very cautious about investing. But definitely worth a look at for all of you, okay? So that's it. Thank you for tuning into this episode with a deep dive into the semiconductor industry, and in particular Micron. I've tried to go through the highs and lows of the company, describe some of the cutting edge technology and products that are out there, and the challenges that lie ahead for the whole industry. Your curiosity and engagement make my ability to make these videos in the world of technology both exciting and enriching, and I hope they do for you as well. I'm going to try and produce more videos in a wider sector, not just concentrate on certain small, low share priced companies, the penny stock companies that are out there. I'm going to try and give you some of the big ones as well, because I know some of you have kind of complained that you need some of the big, like the Teslas and the Apples and things like that, just to get your head around the comparison between them all, and we'll do that. So as we sign off, remember that in the realm of semiconductors, like many sectors of the tech industry, it's ever evolving. So stay informed and be adaptive to any future changes. So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and above all, keep investing in your knowledge. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to welcoming you back to the next episode. Goodbye for now.